Hi and welcome back to my channel. I thought I will start doing these loose watercolor floral paintings each Wednesday, so today it's time for another loose watercolor flower. I'm starting the background with a super light pastel watercolor. I can't remember which color it was exactly, but it was one from the White Nights. When that background is dry, I scribble in my loose flower just with a pencil. I believe it is a water-soluble graphite. We will see it soon. And I just scribble the flower. You can use a reference photo, so it's much easier to sketch out a flower. I also add some leafy branches and also big leaves to create kind of a composition. I'm holding the pencil loose and more at the end. I don't want to create a super detailed drawing. I just want to scribble and sketch the flower. I'm also drawing some kind of berries just as filler elements and to make the composition look more complete. This was the hand of my daughter, and she placed our new family member on my desk so she can check out what's going on. I now go in with the watercolors and I just play very loose without any rules. I would say I just add in color. I am a bit careful not to overdo it, and I just play intuitively. When you paint in kind of a loose style, it's important to leave white areas for the highlights to make everything look more dimensional and to give it more depth. As you see on the left side, I had a quick sketch and it turned out not very pretty and flat because I think I worked too fast, and I also didn't left enough of the white space. I'm playing with the wet and wet technique to create interesting color effects. As always, I'm doing these paintings in real time because I feel that it's easier to follow, and so you have the chance to maybe paint along with me. And if you don't like that, or if it's too slow, you can use that option in the YouTube video to speed it up twice of the speed. I also always add color to the background and let it bleed a little bit into the flower or connect it to my main image so that the colors flow from the main image into the background. This is something you will learn when you practice, not to overdo it and just to give it the right balance, I would say. I now go in with that water-soluble pencil again onto the wet page and redraw the leaves and the flower. And I also do this in a sketchy way. I don't close the lines. I keep them loose and with a different size. Sometimes I just add a very thin line and sometimes I add a thick line. The paints I'm using here are from my own palette that I have put together. I have a video about the palette and I will try to find it and link it up in the top right corner info box, because I mixed my palette with the watercolor mixing book to have colors inside to mix other colors with recipes. I now go in with the Derwent Intense pencils. These are water-soluble ink pencils, just like watercolor pencils. And of course you can use watercolor pencils instead. And I also scribble my lines into the wet areas, and sometimes I also dip the nib into water so the pigment gets released a little bit more intense. I let this dry and then I go in with some white watercolor to add more highlights. Of course, you will find the blog post of this page linked up in the video description, and there you can check out the close-up images. I'm going back in with some more watercolors, and to be true, I have no plan what I'm doing. I'm just playing and I try to not ruin everything, and finally I think the flower turned out super nice, but sometimes it happens that it doesn't look good. But I think that is part of the learning process. I also added some splatters with the watercolors to get more vibrancy. I'm going in with some more darker red to add more shadows and to give it a higher tonal contrast. One of the things that gives you more depth on a flower is when you add some more layers, so not just one layer and that's it. When the flower is dry, you go on top with more color. That's something you have to practice, because sometimes you just overdo it or you cover up all the white space, but that is something that you really get a feeling for when you do this more often. To finish up the spread, I used a stamp because it was laying on my desk at this moment and I thought this font would look really nice with the flower, and I just did some second and third generation stamping on the page with simple black ink. Yes, and that was my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you like the watercolor flower videos. If you want to have more of them, please let me know in the comments. I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.